Microcosm Exotic Heavy Trace Rifle Preview. Destiny 2 The Final Shape by Destiny 2. Heavy Trace Rifle. I mean, it's arc. Bonus to shields. Okay. Huh. Well, consider me intrigued. Let's go back and see what we can notice. See if we can find anything else in here. So, Microcosm, the first thing that I thought was Necrocosm. Like, what? The AR from Crowd, which apparently they're upgrading the catalyst so it doesn't give it what Outlaw. You know, who would have thought? It's almost like we've been saying for a while that the catalyst for Necrocosm didn't do anything, and then it was stupid, and then it was redundant, and that needed to be literally anything else. Who would have thought? Heavy Trace Rifle, I think it's going to be cool. Obviously, it being exotic, you can't run this in anything like Div. That might actually be part of the Div nerf. I'm very upset by the Div nerf, the bubble and stuff like that. It's interesting how they're shaking things up, but the other half of that, and it seems like they might be trying to deliver on that, is making sure other things are up to par, right? So, in a Yu-Gi-Oh card setting, right, you nerf, quote-unquote nerf, by banning Pot of Greed, right? Well, and then you make nerfed retrained versions like Pot of Duality, Pot of Prosperity, Pot of Prosperity, stuff like that, right? That are worse versions of it with specific niches that we gladly play 3 of in decks, right? So, as long as they're bringing the power level up to par with from everything else, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. My own personal Well Warlock thing, they just need to kill Well of Radiance at this point, in my opinion. It would bring me great joy if they just killed Well of Radiance and made it absolutely unusable, which, don't get me wrong, as somebody who is a Well Warlock, looks at that and goes, maybe this will make the community kind of change their opinion on Well Locks and using Well for everything. Actually, going into Pantheon Week 3, I'm intending to do the entirety of that, most likely without Well. Maybe Oryx, but I mean, most likely that everything without Well, just straight DPS, because minus 15 on Caretaker is so tight, it's not even funny. Looking at this, though, we have, what is it? It's not Collective Obligation. That's Roke's Pulse Rifle. The Rohan Machine Gun, I guess that's getting innate anti-barrier next season. So I like that they're giving some options for heavy. I think that the Trace Rifle could be really cute. I think, personally, the ammo rate for this is pretty bad right now. The ammo rate for heavies and stuff. Like, they did have to take out the special ammo glitch, blug, whatever you want to call it, right? Where in Season of the Deep, you ran 2 specials and then 1 heavy. And because you're running 2 specials, it generated special and heavy more, right? If they would have kept the special part of that, I would have been fine. If they would have just removed the heavy spawns, perfect, in my opinion. But now we're living in I'm running constant finders and stuff, and I'm getting shafted on Caretaker, 0-hour Legendary. It's rough. This does look like this is Arc, though, so this just looks like Divinity. If you also notice towards the debut of it, if you look at the bottom, how that looks kind of similar to Divinity, so to speak, right? It's kind of got Div. I like that it's kind of got this, you know, Apex Predator kind of sight. It's kind of got that Dreaming City kind of thing going on. It looks like this is going to be Arc. It could potentially be Prismatic, but I think that this is going to be rather interesting. Showing off against Thrall's not really huge showcase, in my opinion. Showcasing against the Phalanx would have been pretty cool, I think. Deals massive, because the shield, right? Massive bonus damage to shields. I'm okay with that, but that's not saying that that's inherently anti-barrier, so it probably has an intrinsic perk that just, it cracks barriers easier, which I think something like 0-hour, where you have all 3 of those barrier typings, right? You got Solar Shanks, you got Void Shanks, you got Arc Shanks. I think all 3 of those being present, this could be kind of like a pseudo hardlight, so to speak. Like, we don't have match game anymore, right? But this is something that could just be used as barrier tech, and I actually kind of like it. I wonder what the damage is going to be. I mean, it's Trace Rifle. I'd be very curious with this and say like Retrace Path or some of the other Trace Rifles, Cautious Dejection. I'd be very curious to see how strong, if you can get ammo, multiple Trace Rifles are going to be. Obviously, you can't run this with a... There is a strand. There are strand and stasis ones, aren't there? I think there's a stasis Trace Rifle from the season. So hypothetically, you could run a stasis Trace Rifle, the one from Season of the Wish, right? You could run any like Solar, Arc, Void, whatever Trace Rifle you can that isn't exotic, and now you can run the heavy one. So you can run all Trace Rifles, and I think that's actually kind of cool. I'm actually curious what the community's insights are onto this. In fact, these trailers are being incredibly minimalist because there's no way it's just bonus damage to shields. Right? That's the joke. It's Bungie. Bungie, new exotic, the community. What does it do? Bungie, damages shields. My god, you know what else does that? Graviton Lance, which apparently is getting nerfed. Like, the orbs do too much damage. Like, I can totally, unfortunately, agree with that. I digress. This was a very interesting video, an interesting look at Destiny in preparation for the final shape. You know, I'm already locked in for the final shape. I got a buddy who's going into final shape, so if you need someone to kind of say, hey, this is what my opinions are on the final shape, I think Bricky might be doing a video. I'm assuming he would, but I will most likely be reviewing it day one as well. So if you kind of need a dingus to say, hey, what's going on, give you kind of the down low and dirty, I will absolutely be looking into that. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen on launch. We already know that the class items aren't going to be available for the raid. So the exotic Titan mark, the Warlock Bond, Hunter Cape, etc. will not be available. I wonder how much stuff is going to be disabled, right? How, like, an Onslaught, we disabled Cascade Point. How week one, Root of Nightmares, right? We disabled the Winter's Bite, right? The Heavy Glaive. You know, there was a Threat of Ascent, something like that. We've consistently disable stuff because stuff just breaks. Stuff has unintended consequences, and I'm a little worried for the difficulty of the raid. So that'll do it for me. Thank you all for watching another Destiny 2 inspired video. If you are curious about more Destiny 2 stuff, we do have the Discord where we have a bunch of Destiny 2 chatter going on. I'm starting to make some Destiny 2 shorts and stuff like that, and I'm honestly having a blast. I do recommend setting aside some time if you're doing Pantheon. Definitely be patient, and also know your limits. If you're in a group and they're just not doing it 2 hours in, maybe you need to find a different group. Maybe you need to take a break, get a sandwich, something like that. Take care of yourself. As much as we love the game, as much as many of us are addicted to Destiny, I get it. Make sure you're taking breaks and taking care of yourself. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.